It doesn't feel like it's that long.
Hey, that's okay.
But it is. I mean, I remember being a little bit of a walk down there, but
And it's got an elevation
Drop.
change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of
A lot of it.
Yeah.
pushback staff. We're unavoidable.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. This will be ADA, won't it? Which is pretty good.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
Want to
Significant.
avoid guardrail.
Yeah.
I think it's like easy to access.
I thought.
Yeah, right.
I wouldn't want to take a wheelchair down there. No, but it's just so many switches.
She thought she
If you get out of control.
Or get dizzy.
19.
All right, 5:30. I'm gonna call this meeting to order. And do we have a new, were you here last month as a youth commissioner? Or his first meeting?
Oh, this is my second meeting.
Yeah, okay, and just remind me your name?
Damien?
Damien. Thank you, Damien. I want to do introductions. We're all right. Do introductions. All right, do a quick round of introductions. I'm Jason Gerwin. I'm the Parks Board Chair.
I'm Zoe. I'm the secretary on the youth council board this year.
I'm Damien. I'm just on the youth council now.
I'm Davi.
Hold on. You.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Never done. Haven't gone home.
Hi, Ellen.
No. I had a big meeting.
Too? Oh.
I'm Shelby.
Big meeting. So.
That's Elizabeth, all right, next week.
Yeah.
Work on the computer. My name is Vanessa. I'm Kate Reed.
I'm Alan Billingsley.
Vito Jacobazzi.
Mickey York.
All right, thank you, everybody. And so with that, we go on to approval of the minutes. I would entertain a motion.
I have a comment.
Sure.
What was proposed or stated by Janet last month about the lake level? What interest does the park management group here have to do with the lake management? It is basically, is there some reason why? Because I don't think it's appropriate unless we're responsible for the repair to the boat launch. That there is a motion that was approved by council for an agreement with the Department of Fish and Wildlife. So I'm concerned that we're bringing in something that may or may not be, but I'm not clear on that.
Yeah, and so the lake, to my knowledge right now, the lake, the level of the lake is not a Parks Board responsibility. Now, things about lakes come into this board's purview at times, but regarding waterways, my understanding is that that's under state jurisdiction unless you are a property owner and have shoreline adjacent to the lake. But then that depends on your property line, whether you extend to low mean tide or you don't have any of that water property. And that all just depends on how the parcel map lays out.
Right, I mean,
Right, she just brought that up to the Parks Board as information last week,
okay, I
just so we all knew.
the information is one thing, but having it in the minutes, it appears that there would be more to it. And that's what I was concerned, that it basically is an LMD, a Lake Management District issue that
right.
we've resolved, and I guess council has an interlocal agreement with the Fish and Wildlife now.
And so.
It was just a clarification.
No, and hindsight after the meeting, Janet brought it up at the beginning and I had talked about, did we want to make a amendment to the agenda? And it was talked about, but where I erred was I didn't follow Robert Rules of Order and say, take a vote on that, agreeing to add it to the agenda. And so that's an error on my part, but we're kind of a loose board and everyone seemed amicable to it. So we kind of rolled with it. But generally, we should take a vote to see if things are added to the agenda. And so Janet was kind of bringing it to this board's attention because things about lakes do come into our purview.
Yes.
And, but right, as of this moment, how it stands, again, we don't have any say
Right,
over
right.
the,
Okay.
the water level.
I took it as it was an information update.
Yeah, and that's how I
Okay.
received it as well.
That's what I meant it.
Okay.
I did not expect us to do anything. I wanted to be on record that American Lake Improvement Club is not going to take
Responsibility for the lake.
for the lake water level.
Right, right.
And so do we want to make an amendment because we're under approval of the meeting minutes? Do we want to add a statement at the beginning of informational only and then colon and then into the paragraph that Nikki has?
That's good.
Yeah.
From my point of view,
Okay.
since I'm on both boards. Okay.
With that being said, does anyone object? No one objects. We'll kind of roll forward. So one minor change. With that being said, I'd entertain a motion with one amendment to the minutes.
So move.
Okay, I would like it. Get it? Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, unanimous approval streak continues. Nice work. Doesn't look like we have any public comments. No unfinished business, so we roll right on to Elizabeth and she's gonna give us a senior service update.
Okay, actually. I'm down here and can I just have that?
Learned all these things. All right.
Okay. All right, so my name is Elizabeth Scheid and I'm the coordinator for the Lakewood Senior Activity Center and Debbie is my counterpart. So I'm gonna give you an update on the senior center. Okay. All right, so serving seniors. So I'm gonna talk to you about the history, goals, programs, and then take any questions toward the end. All right, so whenever I go back and I look at a lot of these old pictures, you know, it's very bittersweet because there's always going to be photos of people who passed. You know, especially because the senior center has actually been around for almost as many years as I've been alive. And I'm not going to tell you how many.
28, huh?
Oh my gosh, how did you know? So 20, well, it's actually 31, but you really close. So for those of you that are not aware, the senior center started at Clover Park Technical College. So it would be a program like similar to the mechanics program or the culinary program where you would train to work, you know, as a chef or whatever. So they had a program that would teach you how to work with older adults. So the senior center originated at Clover Park Technical College. Okay, and then that type of program was losing its steam just a little bit because you can get that education other places and through experience and that type of thing. And also they really wanted to use their building for something else other than that. And so they were kind of in a panic. What are we going to do with this program? Can't just, you know, forget about the seniors in our community, especially because Lakewood has such a high population of older adults. So the city picked it up in 2006. Okay. So then we moved to the Lakewood Community Center. So there was a grant and a grant that was old that still had some money in it that had to be used for the purposes of older adults. So it was transferred to make some modifications at the Lakewood Community Center. And so we were there for many years until that rascally thing called COVID, where everything shut down. In particular, programs for seniors. So we did start stuff up right away for things with seniors. The two big programs that we started, well, three, is that we started a walk in the park. Okay, we even had to, oh my gosh, we had to wear masks, you had to pre-register, you could only take 12 people, and the rules for those kind of things, changed daily. But that is one of the things that we started right away, regardless of the weather. We did it in rain, whatever. The other thing that we did was we started a drive through event, not a drive-by event, but a drive-through event. Big difference. And so we started that, and that was fun. And we would do different things and hand out like that COVID Christmas. We made so many ornaments and we handed those out. So that was very cool. The other thing that we started, we took all of our rosters from all of our programs. And immediately we had started phone trees. Okay, so we got volunteers to help us because it's not possible that we could call all those people. So we would take somebody, for example, the SUNY art class, and they had a list of participants, and we check on them first weekly, then bi-weekly, and then we kind of modified it from then. So that's what we started. Then we were able to move back into the building, and that didn't last very long because they have significant structural damage. They have a beam collapse and all of that. So that part of the building that we were in is uninhabitable. Okay. So as soon as we started unpacking and getting ready, we packed it all back up. And now everything's out of there. And so we're not really associated with them anymore as far as that part is concerned. And now we do programs at City Hall. We also do programs out at the park and at the pavilion. Okay. So here are just some photos from days gone by. Some more fun photos.
Do you work at the library? Do you go?
Yes, I'm sorry, we do programs at the library as well. We've moved our book club over there. So what is the senior center about? What are our goals? One of our big things is to foster independence and help seniors stay active. That is super important. And staying active is very relative. It could mean that they're going to an exercise class, or it means that they're participating in the book club, or they come to Mahjong, or they come to a variety of different things. It's all relative. One thing that's interesting about serving the older adult population is that, like if you work with youth, you kind of have the developmental activities that you do for toddlers, teenagers, whatever it is. Okay, when you have older adults, you have the span from 50 to 100. Okay, and there's such a variety of levels, physical levels, cognitive levels, all of that. So it can be very tricky when you're programming for older adults because you have to have such a variety of programs. But one of our number one goals is to help foster independence and help them keep active. Another one is to avoid loneliness and isolation. That is so important. It was very important for COVID, and it's particularly important for after COVID. Kids were very affected by COVID, but so were older adults. And so before COVID, sometimes it was challenging to get some of those older adults involved. And then after COVID, sometimes it's a little more challenging. But avoiding loneliness and isolation. For example, we have a new fellow who comes to Men's Coffee. It is the highlight of his week. His sweet granddaughter brings him, and they bring treats because we have it on Tuesdays, every Tuesday. And that, like, somebody had given me some cookies to put out, but I didn't put them out because I know that he was going to be there and he was going to bring the treats, and he's so proud of his treats. He does have some cognitive limitations, and he repeats questions, but you know what? Men's Coffee just rolls with it. And those are the kind of things that we're about. So making connections and having fun. A lot of times, people that come to our center maybe have recently lost their spouse. And they didn't have the social activities outside what they did with their spouse. And so making connections, and obviously we're going to have some fun as well. Connecting older adults to services. We have several services that we help older adults with, and I'll get into those a little bit. But one of the things I've learned over my years is that you can't be everything to everybody, but we know who does. Okay, so for example, we don't offer tax service, but we know who does. So we can help plug seniors into programs like that. Okay, less calls to police and fire. What does that mean? Okay, a lot of times when older adults, seniors are not involved in these different things, they're not as active, they're more lonely, they haven't made connections, they're going to have more calls to police and fire. Okay, those folks are busy. We need to free them up more to do more severe calls or more, I don't want to say more important calls, but I think you understand what I mean. So, and also when police and fire are out there in the field, they can help connect some of those folks to our programs, you know, especially some of those folks maybe are what sometimes are referred to as frequent flyers. Okay. So services and resources. We have a great Alzheimer's support group, and this support group is not for spouses. Okay, this group is for adult children with memory loss. Totally different dynamics. So our Alzheimer's support group is more unique. There is one, I think, in University Place, but there's just not as many of that type of support group around. And that's in conjunction with Alzheimer's Association. So Debbie helps to champion that, but we have two amazing volunteers that help with that. And that program is actually hybrid. So we do it both in person and by phone. So remember that those are caregivers and they can't always get out. Okay, so we offer that option. That also, when COVID started, is we didn't lose that program. We did it all virtually first. At the farmers market, we offer the SNAP, EBT, and market check program. Market checks are for older adults, and if they qualify income wise, we help them with that. We help them get plugged into Pierce County aging and long-term care to get those market checks. We also do, I'm not going to highlight every single program, but these are just some of the main ones. Another thing that we do is SHIBA, and it is statewide health insurance benefit advisors. Okay. And especially right now, it's open enrollment until the first part of December. But we have also a great volunteer that helps with that. And we do in-person consultations to help out with that. And it's, I'm gonna grab water here. And it is not one insurance program in particular, because there's so many out there. It's non-biased and we help get them plugged in. So those are just some of the services that we offer. We have lots of art and education programs. We have our Happy Bookers. And so we have a book club and we do meet over at the library. Or the new temporary library was complete. We did library pop-ups out here. And so it was a great opportunity to build that great relationship with the library.
Can you tell me what Diamond Art is?
Yep, Diamond Art. So Diamond Art, does anybody remember like back in the day doing cross stitch? Okay, it's almost like that. It's on a grid and you're going to do 25 of red number 25. And it's actually really popular right now. So in this picture here, these are like little, well, they're kind of like little beads.
Okay.
But they're not. They're like little teeny tiny gemstones.
Interesting.
Okay, and so we had started that in the spring. Yeah, we had a request for it, and so we started that. It's gotten to be quite popular.
Yeah, I like art, so Diamond Art.
I love it.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Mhm.
Riley loves
Yes.
those.
Yeah, and so that's really a lot of fun. So we have our brain games, and brain games is not for people with memory loss, okay? It would be for everybody in this room. And we do different types of games that work on different parts of the brain. And that is actually quite popular. One of the things that we did is we have coffee and conversation. And we have coffee and conversation first, and then we run brain games back to back. Some people will go to both and some people will not go to brain games. Okay, but that's really a lot of fun. We have our AARP driving class. That is actually quite popular. We are just the host site. One thing that is really cool is we just got a request. A couple will be coming in January, and both of them are deaf, and so AARP is going to provide it's like an ASL. So we just got that news about that today, so that's exciting. But we offer that once a month. And we can always tell when AARP has sent out the postcard announcing it, because we get a lot of phone calls. They don't send the postcard to us, but we have the Naughty Knitters. So we have quite a large knitting group.
My daughter still has her hand puppet that she got.
Yeah.
We have coffee and conversation. And so that's just fun. It's very casual. It's just sit around and have coffee. Yes. Well, that doesn't happen every coffee. Then we have men's coffee. We've had men's coffee for years. We had it at the old place. We have it now. And men typically are less social than women. That's just the nature of how it's always been. And particularly as men get older, they're going to be less social. And as we get older, our circle of friends typically gets smaller, and it does more so for men. You know, if you go back and you look at the statistics and all of that, that's what you'll find. So it was really important that we offered men's coffee. And back in the day, we were like, how come you have men's coffee? Why don't you have women's coffee? So we tried something like that, and hardly anyone attended. So now we have coffee and conversation, and it's open to men and women, whoever wants to come. But, you know, when I talk about the reason why we have men's coffee, people understand. And that is one of our really, well, they're all important, but this one in particular is important. And it's one of my favorite classes to facilitate. So being here is different than being in the senior center, because for the most part, we sit in and facilitate most of the programs just because of the dynamics of everything and people wandering around City Hall and that. But it's one of my favorite programs to facilitate.
What room are you guys in here?
We're in here.
You're in here, okay.
Yes, but we fill the room.
Yeah, I'm
a
sure.
lot. Yes,
sure.
most often. We do lots of special events. You can see that Patty is actually wearing peppermint patties. You know, just goofing off. But we do stuff for Halloween, St. Patrick's Day, Mother's Day, different things like that. We also have fitness programs. Like I said, we have Just to Walk in the Park is what we call our program, and we've had that since COVID got started. And like I said, we used to have to wear masks, and then the rules changed. And so nice that we don't have to wear masks and take roll, and those rules were not long, but we did it. Oh my. Who is that? Who's that shining
Who's
stuff?
that senior fitness
So we have
director?
senior fitness, so we have yoga and some other things at the pavilion. Couple other things that I want to mention in the art education program, we have our SUMI art program, which is like brush painting, kind of like calligraphy, but more pictures and paint that way. And that is actually a very popular program. We're always typically at capacity with that program. Another program we have is the Dirty Gloves, and that's our gardening group, and we meet once a month, and that's a lot of fun.
Do you have a garden, or is this just about your own garden?
They own garden, and a lot of people are like, oh, you know, you should, you know, get garden space. We're like, no. Because guess who's gonna be working it?
Exactly.
Me and Debbie. No, most of them have their own gardens, but even there's a couple of people that live in a apartment, and they have some pots on their porch. And it's really a lot social and sharing ideas too. So no, we're not gonna get a garden spot. Good idea, but no. So engaging older adults. One thing that's different about marketing and programming to older adults is we have to go the whole gamut. Okay, because they're not always on all the different social media platforms, but they are on some. And that is one really good thing, maybe that COVID has done for older adults is it's helped them develop their technical skills. Now, some older adults have technical skills, okay? When I hear people say, oh, older people not really, I'm like, I'm gonna argue with you on that because yes, they do. Okay, especially now after COVID. Now, not everybody. But we do our Facebook page is quite popular. Mostly Facebook is more older people now.
He's nodding their head. Oh, yeah.
Instagram, right? Is Instagram the place to go to?
We're gonna be doing older adults on Instagram. Or Facebook, whatever. But when we get new people, a lot of times they'll talk about that they heard it on the radio. We also have our newsletter, and we send that out either or both by either our paper newsletter or we email it. A lot of times they like to get it in the paper snail mailed to them because they like to hang the calendar up on their refrigerator. And because it's large, they have a harder time being able to print that, email. And we also do some email groups, like we have an email group, garden group, the book club, and some different things. And we didn't do really email groups prior to COVID. We do now, but especially with those phone trees, that really helped us to get more of the older adults involved in that type of promotions. We do quite a few resource fairs. Not only do we participate ourselves, but we also attend different ones. We just attended one in October, and it was all kinds of different services for older adults. It was not for older adults, but for caregivers or people that offer services themselves, which that is nice because we learned about services that we were not familiar with. And we can also go around and I can hand out my business card and I can talk about what I do. Because remember, we can't be everything to everybody, right? But we know who does what and they know what we do. We also get a lot of older adults at the farmers market, so we hand out our newsletters and that. And also, Debbie and I often will work in the SNAP booth and that, and they like to come by and say hello to us. And networking, Debbie and I participate in quite a few networking opportunities because that is how we learn about a lot of the programs that are out there and how they learn about us because we network with people who provide services. We do receive a grant from Pierce County Aging and Long-Term Care. It is a ton of work, I will tell you. Because we have to do so much reporting and collecting data, and they've gotten a little bit better, but they will tell us, oh, and by the way, we would like to know everybody's zip codes or whatever it is. And we have some of that, but we haven't always because they didn't tell us they wanted it, so we didn't do it up front, so we had to research. So they've gotten better because they've gotten a lot of feedback about that. And then we report a lot of stuff. And does anybody have any questions on any of that? Yeah, and we do have some program fees. Eventually we would like to move to another location, a standalone, but we have several challenges with that. One of our challenges is that Lakewood has a lot of industrial areas, and industrial areas are not going to work for us because they don't have a parking lot. Okay, because they don't need a parking lot. They have trucks that pull in. They don't have typical customers, and none of it is ADA accessible. Okay, people are like, well, all the house to be ADA accessible. Yes and no. not to our standards. So like a lot of it, like the bathrooms, you wouldn't be able to, you have to be able to bring a wheelchair in there and be able to turn it around. And even some of the newer buildings that are supposed to be ADA accessible are not. So there was not funding for modifications for anything. There's me. And, you know, it was a challenge finding parking lot, lighting, ADA accessibility. So it is tough to find a space, but we're hoping we're going to have a multi-generational facility, whether it is at the new park or the H barn, but those are some of our options.
It's the H Barnes vision there as
Yeah, and so.
community gathering place for programs like this.
And I agree with you. And so I've been on part of that committee and really, really pushing for the senior part of it and what do we need? Because it's going to be different than what our event planning and special events host, you know,
It can be everything to all these events, you know?
Absolutely. And I agree with you. There are definitely some more special needs or special requirements that our population is going to need and all of that to make it. We want to make it not just the lowest standard for them to be there, right? We want to make it so that it's very friendly and welcoming for them as well.
Over the years, what's the participation level? And do you have active participants that go every week or every?
A couple of different trends is yes, we do have good participation. It used to be years ago that you only went to your senior center, okay? But now, and this is a trend not just with us, it's just a trend, is that they might come to our center, you know, because we have so many painting. And then on a different day, they're gonna go to Ruston Way for acrylic painting because we don't have it. So that we have a lot more cross visitation than we ever did before. But we are still getting a lot of participation, but a standalone facility is going to help with that.
So do you see it climbing? Is it growing participation?
Yeah, it is leveling off just a little bit right now. And it took us a while to build back after COVID, like everyone else who does senior centers. But then it's increased quite a bit. It's leveling off a little bit. We're looking at adding some different programs. We tried like a trivia day and that didn't go over very well. But if you don't, it's only if you don't try, then you don't know, right? And sometimes you just need to modify it a little bit. So we may add that back in more in the spring and do it a day or whatever. But we're going to do like craft day once a month, you know, where they'll come in, we'll have a project, we'll teach them how to do it. And so some different things like that.
How about transportation? Is that a burden?
I can tell you that it is a burden for programs that are at the pavilion. We do have both in our walking program and our SUMI program, people that ride the shuttle. Okay, but the bus doesn't come into, unless it's a shuttle, the bus does not come into the park. And the pavilion, that was not originated for senior programs. The acoustics in there are not good. Okay. So there are some people that do not want to come to like our presentations or things that we have there because they can't hear. And it's not turning down the music. It's not doing some of that. It's just, so a lot of people drive themselves or at this location right here in City Hall, we're really close to the bus system. One of the things when we're talking about a new place, what I didn't want to do is find some little hole in the wall, if you will, to go there for a short amount of time and then move again. When we can make the most of what we have here, I don't want to keep moving because then we will lose reputation. And I also remind people that this is our shell. Okay, this is our shell. What we have inside is what matters, you know, and our participants and our programs.
I know this board has supported for a long time.
And I
Standing Oak
appreciate it.
Center.
At the bottom of it, it said, thank you for your support.
Yes.
I really do appreciate it.
Well,
You
the
know,
bus transportation into Fort Stillicum is one of the things we're working on with the H barn project too, is how can we get that? Because that's gonna be a key element for everything that happens there too, not
Yeah.
just the senior center.
One of the things that we did when we first moved over to the senior center is there was just sign at the bus stop right, right outside the community center. And so we fought really hard and we actually were able to work with them and get a shelter built there. So, transportation is tough. Transportation is a tough deal all over Pierce County. It's a tough deal over King County. And if you look at any of the programs, that is one of their biggest challenges. So yeah, that is definitely tough.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you. As you can tell, I have a passion working for older adults. I've worked with older adults for many, many years, so. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Elizabeth.
Mhm.
All right, we roll on now to a Westlake update, and I think that's David. Hey, everybody, I'm David.
All right, you can go after me. There you go.
Excited to share a little bit of progress on this Westlake project, our first pilot project street dam that we're developing here at the city. I apologize, this wasn't sent as a digital file in advance, but we'll make sure there's a digital copy out there somewhere. But basically, this design is the early iteration of what we're looking at. This is the first stage after the master plan that was put together from the street end report that J.A. Brennan worked on. Our consultants for this team is Facet, a civil engineering team that has a lot of experience working along shorelines. So far, we've submitted our preliminary round of permits to develop this site. This is a 60-foot right-of-way, approximately 160 feet from the top to the shoreline. There's in the early reporting, we didn't notice that there were apparent encroachments, but now that we have a survey, there's some things that we may have to rectify and have conversations with the owners just to make sure that they're following along on how we expect to correct some of those issues. With this current design, we have one ADA stall and two non-ADA stalls. The second non-ADA stall will eventually will need to be removed. We need to create access to a parcel that's there was a kind of a subdivision that happened of a parcel right next to this right of way that needs access into that driveway, and so we've tried to preserve that access with this design. We've basically pushed out the pathway as far out to the edge of that future driveway, and then that stall that you see there that has some dashed lines on it that will in the future, once the property owner there decides to develop, that one stall will go. But we're looking at about a 14 to 20 foot drop from the top to the beach side. So with that drop, we had to just really think through the best way to make that pathway down as least sloped as possible. These switchbacks provide us about a 5.33% slope down, which allows us to meet those ADA requirements that we have for recreation sites. There are some stepping stones there that would just allow people to, there's always desire paths.
Just walk down, they're gonna do that anyway.
They're gonna do it anyway.
Facilitate it.
Address that, so that there's not just erosion that happens unexpectedly down the line. And then there's also a direct path for folks that are just using non-motorized watercrafts. They can get down there pretty quickly, pretty easily, just kind of leaving an open area, an open lawn to that north side of the pathway. Picnic area there in the center, that's that larger plaza area. And then, from this development, we're developing the asphalt pathway all the way to the beach. But once we get closer to bidding, we may look at some alternates to be able to save on cost and reduce that pathway a little bit, maybe towards the plaza area, depending on where things land with cost. So we'll have to just kind of keep track of that just because we have a budget that we're working with. Trying to think if there's any other key things I should address here. We'll have bike racks for the site in addition to the parking. Garbage can, some trees, in our recommendations on that report, we were really thinking about this idea of crime prevention through environmental design, these SEPTA principles. So for this site, we wanted to, as much as possible, reduce the amount of vegetative barriers that we're creating that would just not allow for visibility all the way down to the beach. So with that, we're just thinking through where the best placement of some of these shrubs and trees would be. So I think right now we're talking with the landscape architecture team to maybe move some of those trees to not block that line of sight as much as possible to make it easier for people to make a decision how safe they feel to get down to the water. But yeah, overall, really excited about this design. We have cultural resources that was just performed on site, and so we're coordinating with the tribes, and we'll be ready for the SEPA review pretty soon as part of our permitting. But yeah, any questions about the development? Happy to answer them.
And what's the proposed beach enhancement?
The proposed beach enhancement would include the use of actual beach material, like kind of a sort of gravel, some boulders that can help stabilize that area, some that we may need to do some mitigation and some planting, which we may be able to do upland and not too close to the beach. But yeah, just trying to get that as a gradual slope as much as possible.
Is the stump gonna come out?
Yes, the current plan looks at removing it, but I know we talked about possibly preserving it. I mean, there's a concern with that possibly damaging water traps down the line. So, but what do y'all think about that stump? If y'all have any?
I think it depends on your permitting. Yeah,
Exactly, yeah. Are they gonna allow you?
yeah.
Yeah,
Are they gonna allow you to?
we submitted to Army Corps of Engineer, and so far from our conversations with them, they've provided us the permit to do some pretty extensive removals of not just stumps, but some existing hardscape concrete footings that are there that are moving some other fences. So yeah, I mean, from that perspective, they're aware that probably doing extensive impact to that water area.
Is that park area going to be part of the Silicon Lake O&D?
Well, to me, because the city is a property owner right now as a street right away, but my experience is any property owner on a lake has a seat on the Lake Management District, or, can be a member. So like I have a couple lake properties in Federal Way that I manage, and I have to pay inflated because we're a corporation, municipal corporation. We pay like double the rate of what the average citizen pays to the Lake Management District dues. So I would think the city would become a member of the Lake Management District, but again,
They should be
it could be now, right? Yeah, that's a better way to put it, Vito. Exactly. Yeah. So
I think when there's any kind of water management on Stolikum Lake, I think they come to the city council and
yeah.
and they participated with costs.
Right.
This is just what we talked about. This is water access for the public
This is great.
in a small, non-impactful way to the neighborhood. So I think it's really well done.
I have to go back and look at the site because I cannot figure in my pea brain how you're fitting another house down there next to the one that was there. Because those neighbors, they were very amicable considering the meeting we were having and all of that, and understood. It was a welcome relief, but I got to go around and look at it again because I just don't envision that right now.
Where's the cultural?
So yeah, the survey shows that the encroachment is on the south end, close to the beach area. There's kind of a pizza slice there. The right of way is about 60 feet. So that right of way is shown by that dashed line that goes all the way down to that circle with the cross on it. That's where the marker was found on the other side of the
Oh.
fence. And so the fence is the line that has squares in it. That's the fence that we're proposing, but we want it to be a little bit closer to the property, the right of way property line. Is that clear?
Yeah.
There's that large tree there. It's about a 34-inch deciduous tree.
Mm.
Just south of that, that's where the right of way boundary is. And that encroachment is.
Fair enough. Well,
What is the encroachment? Is it hard or is it just a lawn or what is it?
It's there's an old fence kind of falling apart, and there's a footing that's holding that fence up.
Yeah.
And then it happens again around the middle of the site where the fence kind of jogs around the trees.
Yeah.
And there was no choice but to apparently move that fence into the property line, which maybe shouldn't have happened. So we have to just take that fence back and correct that. Is the goal, but ultimately, council, we want them to weigh in on how to approach that issue, so that they can make a decision on whether they want to sell that portion of the encroachment back to the property owner or take that back. It'll be up to council. Yeah.
what would be the ideal thing for the boundary? If you do get an adjustment, even if you don't get an adjustment, what would you still put a fence up? Would there some type of screen?
Yeah, right now we're kicking around the idea of just creating some sort of standard chain link fence that's maybe 4 to 6 feet high, depending on what would allow us to reduce the amount of permitting, and then have some sort of privacy screen, and then work with the owner to make sure, that's something that they're okay with. And we just want to make sure that we're reducing any trespassing that would happen as a result of this increased water access to the public.
You don't want to maintain it.
And exactly. So, yeah, we want to be able to put it up and
Once
make
it's
sure it
done.
lasts.
Yeah.
Plenty of time.
What's our plan to evaluate? Because this was our first one, it's pilot. We want it to be successful. How are we gonna be measuring? So we can use this as something to moving forward to other places.
That's a good question. I think so far Public Works has prepared a survey for 4 other sites, 4 total sites. So Westlake, and then 3 other survey sites happened. And from there, they're trying to get ahead of any potential encroachment to make sure that that doesn't become an issue to developing the sites. But as far as measuring the next key site, I think that should be a conversation where we talk about what the goals would be of kind of how we can maybe focus on a different lake potentially, and maybe have a conversation around that. But yeah, there's no specific plan
Are we
to.
gonna survey users after a while? Like, how do you like this? How often do you use it?
That's a
What kind of
possibility.
user you having? I think that might help us.
Yeah,
Are the ADA people happy with it?
that's certainly something that we can talk about. But
Well, and something just really could be interesting is some sort of use metric where, old school, you had a laser beam and people walk by it and it would just a counter or something like that and kind of measure the
You
before
could
and
do an
after.
informal survey,
Yeah, yeah.
just get feedback.
Right.
Maybe with the QR code on the sign there.
yeah, we can do something like that just to get general temperature check on what we think and any suggestions for future improvements. That's
I think
sort of-
people will also post on, I'm not thinking about like Trails, but not the Trails app. But they might post this on their apps and take pictures of it and give comments. That'd be.
Yes, so
That'd be
I
a good
will
place
be
to-
there taking pictures. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I think she's right. It's be fun, a way to say, this is what I did with my kids. No. Really good.
I've got several teenagers I know that are excited because they go fishing there now as
Yeah.
it is. And so to have improvements, they'll be really excited.
So is the plan to take this back out to the public one more time? Or are you gonna take it to council when it goes out for bid?
So at the moment, it is posted at the site. So through permitting, we are required to go to the public. So we'll be taking public feedback for the next 2 months, I believe,
Okay.
maybe a little shorter. But yeah, it's posted on the site now. There's a public noticing period as a result of permitting. So yeah.
So is this gonna be your bid document? Or close?
This will turn into the bid document. We'll make some slight modifications and then we are applying for a variance as part of our permitting process. So we are just going to get extensive feedback on that for the final set.
I just want to bring up one thing that could happen because it's happening over at a park in Wenatchee. And it has to do with this word critical area.
Yeah.
So what's happening over there is nobody's taking responsibility for removing noxious weeds. And so I think expectations, when you say critical area, it might be good to define what the expectations are for critical area.
Okay.
There's a lot of angry people over there.
Our consultant prepared a critical areas report just to kind of determine what noxious weeds are currently there and what other things, native plants that are there that we should find a way to support or mitigate for if we're bringing heavy construction to that area. So yeah, that's it.
Looks like what we talked about on site. And yeah, it's exciting that a street end is actually being developed.
So when we had these meetings last year, one of the concerns were access to kayak, kayaks.
Yes.
So you see that taking place through these steps, or if they wanted to make the turns.
Yes.
You see it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think the main accommodation that we had is that dashed line to the north, just off of the sloped areas. We wanted to create as straight of a shot, as easy of a line for people to kind of temporarily load or unload and offload and use that lawn as kind of the easiest access point down to the beach. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So we graded that area to be fairly kind of minimal slope, that isn't impacted by any like infrastructure or anything. So, yeah.
We're gonna put a luge slide.
I was just gonna comment that.
Bring
Can you put a water thing that we can?
Yeah.
That's great. Good.
I also just want to make one more comment because I am a kayaker and we go up into the High Lakes, Oregon. And parking with your boats, with the kayaks can get crazy as well as a bunch of kayaks on the beach. So, no, I like the rocks because it's gonna inhibit people from stacking up their kayaks so that no one else can get in. Yeah, so it's just anything we could do to design it to make it like feel you at a time being fair.
Yeah. All at once.
So as a kayaker, so you pull up and there's 6 people down there. Are you gonna continue to kayak or are you gonna go
You
somewhere else?
hang out,
No, so what we
see the
had,
water.
and what we would do is we'd unload our kayaks close, go drive the
Yep.
truck up to where it needs to park, and then we're coming back down and
Yeah.
we're carrying. And that's like any of these spots for me, when we carry our kayaks, you're gonna get in there. If you wanna go paddle, you're gonna find a way to get yourself launched, you know?
And you're gonna guard your boats.
Yeah.
You know, but it does get really, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
sorry about
Oh,
the
yeah.
kayakers, but we do abuse the shoreline a lot. So be prepared.
Just need to get out of the cockpit for a little while.
Yeah.
All the fun gets in my usually have to finish.
Yes, I love it.
So I've got one question for you. Is the legacy plan, this is off subject, survey still open or closed?
Yeah, so Scott and I had a conversation about that. We can realistically leave it open through the end of the year, actually through January, until we have a consultant on board. I think right now there is a deadline on the survey flyers that we have, just because we wanted to kind of do a big push to make sure people were filling it out and felt like they were there's like something that they can work towards. But yeah, we can leave it open.
So I've seen people using it at the wildlife area because I've been out there this week and all last week.
We have over 475 survey responses. So really good turnout so far.
Yeah.
And still trying to focus on those areas where we're not hearing from as
Right.
many people as possible. So Harry Todd, Active Park, and Kiwanis are some of the key areas that we want to keep hearing. People in the wildlife area, I think we have 6 responded so far. So hoping to see more, and we won't close it. So
Just curious, yeah. So I'll leave the sign up out there too.
please, please.
Well, and since we're on legacy plan, Debbie, I'm gonna hit you up because during the meet and greet last week, it was brought up to me that there was a thought that history wasn't relatively reflected in the current legacy plan or spots for that feedback. And I know at one time we had talked about kind of history being a component of any kind of park development we do, so that we're honestly honoring the legacy, hence the legacy plan. And so I can check that box. I've done my due diligence and let you know. And so any way we can incorporate history was some feedback I got last week. Anything else on the Westlake update?
Good.
Nice
Very-
work. Yep.
Yeah, very good.
Appreciate seeing it.
I need to sneak out. Is there
Yes,
any
no, no,
other questions for me? If not, you.
Thank
can
you,
email me
Elizabeth.
or-
Appreciate you being here.
Thanks.
All right, now we're gonna roll on to the 2026 work plan. You want me to take this one? All right. With pretty standard work plan here. We got most of our stuff done in 2025, as you saw that follow through, and I'll add on the director's report. But we'll do our elections in January. We have climate pledge and the urban forestry program in February, special event updates, event update. Prepare for Parks Appreciation Day and Wards Lake opening in March. Legacy plan update in April. Camp Murray Improvement Project and preparing for the joint meeting in May. We'll have, wow, it's late this year, joint meeting with council in June 8th. And then we do a street in recap. And we have in July, we have the downtown plan, park plan updates and playground replacements. August is park CIP. September, historic preservation, the H Barn Cemetery and cottages. And then in October, we'll have an Edgewater final design. And then in 11 and November next year, we'll be right back where we are now in another senior services update. Our special events follow through as normal.
Summerfest is different next year.
Oh, Summerfest is different. Oh, it's gonna be in August. Okay.
Wow.
That's what gonna change.
That's because it's a World Cup.
Oh, gotcha.
All right.
And then of course that pushes back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Festival.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because of the World Cup, soccer World Cup.
Because, yeah. And then,
I thought it was to celebrate my birthday. That's how
It is.
Oh, okay.
It's all about you, Vanessa. And
Are you the 15th, Vanessa?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
I was gonna lobby for a Nessa Fest.
You know, that Fiesta de Familia, that's kind of late in September.
It
That's the weather,
Yeah.
or it's getting a little busy.
they want to get it done though.
Okay.
I think that's
I was thinking,
closer
trying
to
to.
the actual like Mexico Independence
Oh,
Day.
okay,
So,
okay.
yeah.
I'm not seeing anything missing that we've talked about. Is there anything missing, things that you thought needed to be on there?
Yeah, when, what is it called, the Old Settler Cemetery.
Old Settler Cemetery.
Doesn't that belong to us? We
Yeah, it does.
Yep.
probably hear about that.
Yeah, what's the latest?
And if we can squeeze in, when you're doing urban forestry, an update on the South Sound
How's that wildlife?
wildlife area, because we've got we'll
And that
be a
would be-
total of 10 weeks of urban forestry money that we've spent out there from a federal grant.
And you'd be okay to do that in February?
Be happy whenever you'd like it. Yeah.
And I don't know that it will be February, that may change.
This is all
depending on
this is all tentative,
Yeah.
but
When Tiffany's available. I know she said she's gonna be meeting with council in December. So she'll get further direction, so we'll find out more from that.
anything else that's been out there that we should be talking about? What about
Is
youth
there-
commission?
Oh.
Nice.
You know, we're very, very excited for the holiday parade coming up.
Yay,
We
yeah.
have a full list of volunteers. I think that's all that we've, we're doing the Jingle Bell Run.
Okay,
I
yep.
think that's at Fort Still coming.
What is that? You know the date?
It's
The weekend.
It's the week after, yeah.
13.
The weekend after the 30th.
No, the weekend after the parade.
Yeah,
The
so
parade.
the 13th.
The first
and then
two
the
parade's on
parade,
the
Yeah,
6th.
yeah.
How many volunteers do you have on helping with the parade?
That is a great question. Wait, there's
Are we
like five
maxed out?
people for each. I would say a good like at least 30, at most 35, at most 35. Because yeah,
Yeah,
because
plus
most I remember we split kind of evenly between the two dates, and then the Jingle Bell Run needed less people. So. Oh,
And you guys are heavily involved with MLK Day again this year, I'm
oh
assuming?
yeah, yes we are. Oh yeah, we talked about that too. Yes, we are. Yes,
That's
very
actually
much
the
so.
beloved community event.
Right, yep, on the, yep.
And that's gonna be at Pierce College.
That's at Pierce College this year.
There's all kinds of events. It's pretty awesome.
Oh, never mind.
We're gonna get new shopping bags.
Oh yes, yes, we got mugs last
So that
year.
was-
Yeah, well, yeah.
Things,
I
yeah.
love this. Will be lovely.
The art is up in the hallway already for the first quarter, but the art show, I can't remember. I think it's February.
Questions, thoughts, concerns on the work plan?
It's good.
All right, hearing none, we're gonna roll on to the director's report. Scott couldn't make it, so he provided me with the update for us. And so I'll run through it. 2025 capital projects, legacy plan, the survey's underway, going for it. If you haven't filled out the survey, make sure you do it. Harry Todd complete. For Silicon Park, the Nisqually projects and kiosk are nearing the final design. If you haven't driven around town and seen the new park name signs or monument signs, they're installed and look really nice. It's a nice addition. Edgewater Park design's underway and under permitting process is going to start soon. Ward's Lake improvements. And so I drove by yesterday and I saw the gate closed. So are the gates open now?
Not yet.
Okay.
It's gonna be soon.
I was anxious because I was like, can I
Yeah.
go in? Can I go take a
I
peek?
think it's actually technically mid-December, right?
Yeah.
Mid-December is, I think, when it's slated.
Is it just like a secret soft opening?
I think they'll probably announce it on social media. They've been putting all kinds of posts about the dog park and the bike trail and the pump track and all the things, the Portland Loo,
Yeah.
which is
Email
pretty
us.
exciting.
Email
Yeah,
us
if you
when
would- just
it-
a one liner, just saying, hey, fences are down and in the subject line would be more than adequate.
Yeah.
Cause yeah, I'd love to get over there. Like I say, I was by there and you can see the development and I
Yeah.
saw a car pull out of there and I'm like, oh, did he get in? And then I went to turn in and, but well,
Do you have a more tentative date on that, Doobie? No, you haven't heard. Yeah, I think Stacy's been saying mid-December.
Okay.
Soon, coming soon.
so we've been doing support, Silicon Dog Park fence upgrades and that should be completed by the end of the year. Are you involved in that, Zoe?
Oh, I'm not involved in it. We go to the dog park
All the time? Okay,
Yeah.
well, you were excited,
We're
so I
really
wanted,
excited
I wanted to
about
get
it.
into some of the excitement. Gateway signs are, north one is done. We still have the 84th Street to go there by the Shell station, maybe? I think that's what it is. Then the reader board install at Motor Avenue, and that's gonna be complete by the end of the year.
It's actually up if you haven't.
Yeah,
driven by.
I
Yeah.
didn't see it, no.
So where is it? Is it over by the oak trees, close to
No.
the trees? Or-
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not by the bank, but Greens, it's
Oh.
over by the
CVS.
Oh, by CV. Okay. I'll look.
That's fine.
And then American Lake complete, park is complete. Several of us were at that ribbon cutting. It looks fantastic over there. And then special event, updates. Hope to see you all on Saturday the 6th for the holiday parade. We will not meet in December. Parks Director interviews happened last week, and so waiting for announcements on that. And then a new communications manager has been hired and will start on January 5th. That's kind of the lay of the land in Lakewood Parks. So with that being said, any reports from board members tonight?
Will you send us the email for the new communications director?
Yeah, when I find out.
Yeah, well, yeah, I've been kind of watching for it to add that for stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've heard tell that they may be announcing our director soon, so hopefully we'll hear something soon.
Yeah, I was hoping to hear it tonight.
Yeah.
Me too, Alan.
Yeah. Everybody's on pins and needles, you know?
No, you should have just come in by Zoom or something. He's not here. What does that mean?
Yeah, what's that mean?
Creating all sorts of speculation.
Yeah, as soon as I find out who it is, I will let you guys know as soon as it's announced.
I mean, we lost the Suburban Times. That's gonna be a
Yeah.
key thing for a lot of community things to make sure.
Yeah.
Although I was talking to Walter
Cascadian
Neary.
coming.
Yeah, so they're looking to start a new type of Suburban Times, at Walter Neary and then
And
other
he's getting
gentlemen.
ready to soft launch that in the
Yeah.
next week or so.
So what's the name of it?
The Cascadian.
Ah,
The
cool.
Cascadian.com is their website. It's getting going.
Yeah, that's great. I mean,
We're only weeks away from them filling that hole. They've spent quite a bit of their own money getting it started.
that's what it
So
sounded like.
when they get launched, we'll try and get Rotary money for them to get them going and stuff too, because it's a really key community.
I mean, the Suburban Times was the
Yeah,
anchor of
Ben
this
was priceless,
city.
really.
Yeah.
Well, Pierce County.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And so like to have something coming back is great. And hopefully, because the readership that the Times, Suburban Times did. With that being said, eat too much turkey, too much mashed potatoes, enjoy your holiday
pants
season, and we will not see you until January of 2026. So
Happy
have a happy holidays, y'all, and thanks for all your help and support over the years. Much appreciated. And with that, I would entertain a motion to, did you have something?
No, I didn't.
All right, are you sure?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Vito with a motion, Shelley with a second, all in favor? Aye. Nice work, y'all. Thank you. Happy holidays.
The holiday.
I do actually have a question.
All right, what do you got, Joey?
I'm so sorry.
No.